The Investing Project is about helping ordinary people achieve substantial wealth without upending their everyday lives. The Million Dollar Experiment is a real-time example of this project in action. And my foundational premise in leading this project is that I am not an expert in any of these topics. Rather, I'm building a system that weaves in other people's expertise and makes it possible for me, and you hopefully, to achieve tremendous results in a very short time. So remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't just blindly copy me. Instead, use this as a framework to integrate your own choice of experts that will help you achieve the results you want. Welcome to the Week 15 update for the Million Dollar Experiment. This was an interesting week. We started out down $502 from last week's fairly disastrous one day of trading. And then we started this week going down another $100. We were down $600. So we were in the worst financial position that we've been in so far in the Million Dollar Experiment for the month, down $600. And by the end of the month, we actually ended the month positive $2,182. We traded positively. No, that's not true. We made the 2182 this week, and that offset the $500, which made from last week. That meant that we'd met our monthly targets yesterday and produced an extra 500 or so, or 418 extra in our alternative account. So we ended up in good shape. I'll talk more about that when I jump into the spreadsheet. But this went from being in the worst financial position for the month since we started the experiment to being in the best position for the month since we started the experiment. So interesting swing this week for sure. And so that was the trading. We had 9 trades, 6 of them were wins, 2 losses, 1 break even. And we had over on the growth engine side, we have managed to capture about $84 of the 314 that we wrote last week. So things are progressing along in a generally positive direction. So I'll jump into the spreadsheet. We'll talk more about this. Okay, jumping in, we are looking at an interesting week. So I mentioned in the intro that we started the week down substantially. So we were down $500 on the month. So we started with a substantial deficit position in our Million Dollar Experiment account for the month 4. And then we proceeded by adding to that on Monday. We dropped another $100, so we're down $602. However, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things turned around rather substantially, and we had really an excellent day yesterday, making $1,260. But this ended up being a week where we brought in $2,182. So we met our target for the Million Dollar Experiment for month 4. I'll look over here at the totals here. You can see day by day, this is where we were. So we met our target on Thursday, yesterday. We wanted to make 1127 in month 4. We made 1262. And then the extra from today ended up in our alternative or simulation account. So an extra $418. So that was a pretty decent turnaround. I'm very pleased with that. Let's look briefly at the growth engine, the investments here. We have 2 sets of put contracts that we've written, really 1 contract each for DRAM and SoFi. And they're coming along. We basically have, based on where the price action is, if we sold these and liquidated today, in other words, if we bought back these contracts, sold them is the wrong word, if we bought back the contracts that we'd sold at the current prices, we would have made $84 in profit on the DRAM and $14 in profit on the SoFi. Of course, we don't intend to do that. We're going to let them go all the way through and probably expire. And when I say probably, what that really means is, depending on what seems to be going on in the market, most likely, if the stock is above the strike price when the expiry date rolls around, these contracts will expire worthless, and we'll just use the money to write new contracts next month. There is sometimes the desire to roll it or to pay money to get out of this contract in order to put the money to work in some other stock. I will examine that as we get closer to the expiry. But for now, we know that we've written $314 worth of put contracts for this month, and we've captured essentially 98 of it if we were to liquidate today. So that's where we stand. Things are looking quite decent all the way around, and I'm very pleased with this for week 15. Oh, just one more thing before we sign off. If you would like to download the exact plan and blueprint that we're using to drive the Million Dollar Experiment, you can download it for free from our website. It's at theinvestingproject.com. The link is in the description. There's also our Million Dollar Experiment YouTube channel where you can see all of the trades that we place as we place them.